6 of Naked Talk with Unprocessed Jess. Candid convos about whole health. So today we're talking round butts, flat guts, and why they're important to our health. So yes, aesthetically, a big booty or round butt, nice, high, and tight, looks good. It gets attention and it brings that attraction on, but it's not just aesthetically that we want to have that. It actually is a big factor in our health and our posture and keeping our spine protected. I'm sure you remember from back in the day the songs Baby Got Back and I Like Big Butts and I Cannot Lie. Well, there's a reason those are popular because a lot of people can relate to that. You know, I remember growing up and one of my aunts would tell us that her husband would say that she suffered from Nasatol and it was no ass at all and she needed to take something for that. And then as I started getting older, going through puberty, I would notice more of my family's bodies and how a lot of us had kind of a flat butt. And I thought that was just kind of something that was in our family and that I was going to have as well. As I became more athletic, I did not have a flat butt, but then going through motherhood and aging now, I'm 41, I did notice that it wasn't that I was overweight or anything, but my butt was beginning to get that kind of drag and sag look to it, and where the bottom of your buttocks meets your upper thigh just wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. And I'll share later in this episode some things that I did to really make a difference. And I'm talking, y'all, like I saw results much faster than I thought I would. But before I say that, I do want to mention that this is for informational purposes only. And you always want to consult your healthcare professional before you start on a new exercise or health regimen or stop what you're doing. And this is in no way intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any illness or disease. It is me sharing my experience and information that I've learned as not only a holistic health coach, but also as a human and a woman and a person who has tried a lot of different things. So many people suffer from back pain, and it's chronic back pain, meaning it's not just something that, oh, you know, I feel like I moved my back wrong and it hurts. This is chronic, meaning that they have been suffering from this for a long time. And I am very big on getting to the root cause of the problems versus managing the symptoms. So, for example, say you have back pain and you take a pain reliever for that, or you take a cream and you put it on that, which is important because you obviously want to have temporary relief from that. But that's just managing that pain. It's not really asking yourself, what is causing this pain? And what can I do to have this corrected so I'm not living in pain for the rest of my life and just managing the symptoms? You may be listening and thinking, yes, that's totally me. I seem healthy. I feel I'm not in the doctor's office all the time, or I haven't been diagnosed with something, but I have this annoying pain in my back that won't go away. Or you may have a job where you sit at a desk a lot and you're not moving around as much as you probably could be, and your muscles are tightening. So when you go to do something, it's causing pain or injury because of the lack of conditioning, of the strength conditioning of those muscles in your body. Something else I hear a lot of people tell me that they are struggling with, or my clients as well, is their hormones. That is a really big topic. I've mentioned before in an episode, you can look anywhere and say low T, low testosterone, go here, quick fix, feeling hormonal imbalance. So it is something that is a problem, but once again, are we getting to the root of that, or are we just managing it? All of this works together. And if you have back pain, like going to my previous episodes, it's episode 2, I talk about sex and sleep. get more of each and feel better, right? It's all related. So if you're having back pain, you're going to not feel your best. It can affect your sleep, which affects your hormones and your libido. So you're having sex less, you're stressed because you're not having sex, and it's just a vicious cycle. So it is something that needs to be addressed, and many are suffering from it, but they're just not talking about it. So let's talk a little bit about why round butts and flat guts are important to our health, or flat butts and fat guts are detrimental to that. So let's talk about your spine a little bit. There's a group of muscles that support and hold us erect or upright and help with our posture. This is something else you can try to pay attention to with yourself, especially when you're sitting a lot. Are you hunched over, or are you sitting up nice and tall? You know, your mom or dad or parent or adult in your life probably would tell you, sit up straight. I know mine would do the same as a child, and it was so annoying. But now that I'm a parent, of course, I'm telling my children that, but it really is important. If nothing else, for aesthetics, as you age, you want to stay as mobile as you can for as long as you can, because nowadays people are living longer. We're realizing more and more that we don't have to grow old miserably. We can reinvent ourselves, right? We all go through different seasons in life. I'm 41, and last year at 40, it was a huge change for me in life. And I look at people who are retired and live in this life of health and fun and fitness, and I'm like, that's where I want to be. I don't want to say, okay, I put in my time, have my kids, made some contribution to this world, and now I'm going to kind of just settle down and grow older and not have the life that I want to have. So keep that in mind. It's not just aesthetics. That is a bonus to look hot naked and to feel great, but you really want to stay mobile. So that group of muscles, it supports our spine and helps us, holds us upright, but it also allows us to move and bend and twist, and that's what's so important. And there's your extensor muscles, and these are the ones that are on the back of your spine and your lower back and glutes, and then your obliques, and these are more on the kind of the side of your spine. I'm sure you've heard of obliques when you do abs, or if you've seen a workout, and those are more on the side, and those really help with your posture as well, and also help rotate your spine. So those are just as important. And then there's your flexor muscles, and these are in the front of our spine, and also your ab muscles, and they help with lifting things and bending forward and also arching your back. That's what those muscles play a part in doing. So when those muscles are weak, when we go to bend, those muscles will tighten, and then that's what can cause some pain and discomfort and injury as well. So keeping that in mind, this is where the round butts or glutes come into play. So if you think about it like your lower back, there's your pelvic region and your sacrum, and there's not a lot of things down there that region that is holding it together, except for those glute muscles that are going over that sacrum and pelvis, and that holds it upright. So you can see right there, that alone shows us how important it is to have really strong, intact glutes, because it really does affect all the rest of our body. Because if we're not held upright, if we're not protecting our spine, if our gut is too large and that's weak, and our core as well, and it's pulling us forward, constantly causing strain and pull, we're going to be more likely to have an injury and pain. So what can we do about it then? If you say, hey, Jess, yes, that's me, or I don't know anything about it, or yeah, I've known about it, but I've gotten out of practice a little bit, what can I do? Well, I suggest strength conditioning and training. If you're already doing something, that was me, y'all. I was going to 7 classes a week. I love fitness. I love being around people, and just the fun that I have working up a sweat and the high that I feel when I leave is really important to me, but I didn't have any intention. I was just going to these classes, spin 3 times a week, core tone and abs twice a week, and I would go to Zumba after those classes. So I was doing back-to-back classes twice a week. I was not eating enough. I knew I was, quote unquote, primarily eating healthy, but it was not enough. So that was me. But if you notice, what I said in there did not include weights and strength conditioning training. So let me go into a little bit about my story and experience with that, with weights, and what kept me from doing them for so long. So when I was still homeschooling my 3 girls, I had a friend where I lived, and she did CrossFit. And so I thought, okay, you know what? I had lost myself in motherhood, and I knew I needed to get back on track. So I was very excited when she invited me. And if you've done CrossFit before or know people who have, you know that it really becomes a big part of their life, and it's like a family. And so that's how I felt about my box. It was called U-Turn CrossFit. And I just loved it. I would get up at 4:10 in the morning. I would go to meet her. We'd ride together. And I just loved the whole experience. And it was a really great time in my life for what I was going through and to get me out of that kind of a mom rut. But during that time, I was doing a back squat, and I went up a little too high on my weight. And I remember going down into my back squat and looking at my friend in terror, like, oh my gosh, I can't get back up. And in my head, I'm thinking, I never thought of what to do if I couldn't get back up. So I fell back. My neck, the back of my neck hit the bar. And ever since then, I would injure my back, and it would feel like it would just start spasming out. So I took time off from that. I did go back after taking time to heal from that, and still did that while I lived in that area at the time, but I didn't max out anymore. But ever since then, it was just this mental thing of, I feel like I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get hurt. I don't have time to be injured and not be able to work out. I become very down when I don't get to work out for an extended period of time. So I didn't want that. So what did I do? I just avoided weights altogether. I never became severely overweight or anything like that. I've always maintained, but I just noticed it was the way I was feeling. And then I did a half marathon with another friend of mine at Disney World. And after that, I ended up, I went to a class and my back locked up. I couldn't move. It was really scary for me. So I took time off for that as well. So I just started seeing that I was active and I was doing these things, but I knew something was missing. So went for years without doing weights and finally decided, okay, I'm going to add weights into my routine, but I'm going to have a trainer because I was so scared to get hurt. And I wanted to make sure it was someone who could work with me, knowing that I'd had a back injury in the past. And I just felt a little bit better. And also it's just for accountability. As a woman, I'm really confident in a lot of things, but in the weights, for some reason, those barbells and dumbbells, and I just didn't want to look dumb, to be honest. I didn't want to go to this area and guys be looking and saying, okay, like, who's a dumbass, like, lifting like this, she's going to get hurt, or those are things that went in my head. So I just felt better having someone trained in that. And I met a friend she's a wonderful lady. Her name's Melissa, and she owns a place called Big House Training in the Woodlands, pretty close to where I live. And so I felt very comfortable there, and I found a trainer there. His name's Eric Garcia, and he's amazing. He has helped me so much, and I've just seen amazing results, even in a short period of time. I coupled that with Dr. Banks. He's at a place called Finish First in the Woodlands. He is amazing as well. And what he does is he gives you tailored meals to go along with your fitness level and your goals, but also your individual numbers and data. So that, coupled with the weight training under the guidance of my trainer, was phenomenal. I I found out also with Dr. Banks that I was grossly under eating. So I was training way less and eating a lot more and feeling wonderful. And I thought, this is too good to be true. And I think a lot of times, especially for women, it is very hard for us to grasp that concept. And I had a friend of mine tell me, yes, Jess, you need to, he did tell me you're doing too much and you're not eating enough. But I couldn't get past that in my head that I needed to eat more and work out less. But now that I had intention with it and adding that strength and conditioning several times a week, I wasn't feeling, I would feel the change and it would feel a bit sore at times, but it wasn't that like, man, I can't even move this whole day and I just feel all of my energy depleted. I haven't felt like that, and I know it's because the combination of drinking tons of water and the right food and doing the right training and not going overboard. Now, I still fill in with my Zumba class or a spin class and Pilates or yoga, but it's because I enjoy it and I'm not overdoing anything. So that's a little bit of my story and my testimony for myself of how weights, adding that strength and conditioning training in, really helped me see results. I'm down over 5% body fat, but even more important than that, I've gained 7 pounds of lean mass. So that is pretty cool. Okay, so what do you do about it? How can you get stronger glutes and a flatter gut? Squats and deadlifts. So if nothing else, if you get these two movements into your regimen, you will see a big difference. Now, once again, as a disclaimer, always seek your healthcare professional's advice before changing up your routine. I suggest having a trainer just because you don't want to be injured. You don't want to cause more problems than you're already having. And yes, you might be saying, well, I don't have the money. Well, because I know you're going to be eating less crap and more food, like we talked about in the last episode, episode 5, you'll be amazed at the money that you will find when you stop spending it on things that you don't need. Prepackaged foods, maybe it's Starbucks, maybe it's drinking, whatever that might be for you. Maybe you need to sacrifice, shopping for a little while for your health. So invest the time in yourself and your health because you're worth it, and do things the right way. So squats and deadlifts, you want to add your shoulders in there as well. This is something that before I started doing this, I thought, I just don't have strong arms. I used to think, I think men have bigger, it's easier for them to build arms, and women it's easier for us to build our legs. But the arms that I have, I love right now because they are so strong. I wanted that goal to stay strong but feminine, and my trainer has really helped me do that and tailor those certain spots. So squats and deadlifts, add some shoulders in. You can do it 2 or 3 times a week. You go on your schedule and your body and pretty much what you're wanting to achieve. But those movements the squats and deadlifts are full body movements. You will feel it. You will use all parts of your body. Remember when we talked earlier in the episode about those muscles around our spine, those back muscles? You'll feel that when you go to do a deadlift properly. You should be able to feel all of those muscles engaged. And now, addressing your gut issues, like I've said before, health begins in the gut. So part of that, you would be surprised if you have a really large gut, how much of that is just poop and waste. And we don't want that in our bodies. It's not meant to be there. You eat your healthy foods, you take the nutrients that you need, and then you expel the rest. Meaning you don't want that to sit in there because that leads to other issues like, well, one, the most obvious, you're just not as energetic. It's harder to move around when you have this excess weight on you, but then it can create an environment that's conducive for things like candida or pathogens, which are parasites, or just creating a sludge. When your waste is in there and just sitting, it putrefies and it becomes stagnant, and that's not meant to be in there. So start with a healthy gut, addressing that. You want to move around a little bit, at least 30 minutes a day. You can start by drinking lemon water in the morning to get your digestion going. I mentioned that in episode 4. reducing your stress, because we all know that when we're stressed, it just puts a strain on us, not only mentally and emotionally, but physically. And it doesn't allow our bodies to do what it was created to do, which is digest and then work on healing and resting. And that's how we keep things flowing and have a great day. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but when we're allowing our body to do its job, we're just a lot happier and healthier. Cutting down on those inflammatory causing foods that I talked about, things like dairy, gluten, yeast, and sugar. Start cutting those down and you'll see your inflammation go down. I talk about in episode 3 about constipation and our proper poop protocol. So you want to be sure to follow those things when you're taking a poop. So you're relaxing, you're getting that waste out of your body more easily. And all of those things will contribute to great gut health. But also as you're working on your getting that nice round butt, your gut's going to benefit as a result, because remember those abdominal muscles, all of these things work together. And let's just face it, once you start seeing results, you'll feel better and then you'll want more. So you'll want to maybe put in some abs in the morning. You know, if you're really busy and you can't go to the gym, there's body weight things you can do, and you can do squats in the morning without any weights, and you can do your abs. The main thing is just to stop talking about it and start doing something. And as I discovered after I woke up from my life and said, hey, I'm losing myself in motherhood. I'm not best friends with my husband anymore. I need to change this. And I started making sex a priority and feeling better about myself. When you start doing these things and you're healthier and happier, you're going to feel sexier. And then you're going to want to have sex more, which is not only going to benefit you, but it'll also benefit your spouse. Those squats and deadlifts are a full body movement like we mentioned before, but they also don't cost a lot metabolically or energy wise. So you'll notice you shouldn't feel totally depleted and like you have nothing left after doing these movements. And they'll also optimize your hormones. So that testosterone, the estrogen, the human growth hormone, all of that is activated when you do these types of movements. So you should totally give it a try. I'd love to know if you've tried this and what you think about it, or if you do this and you have done this for a while and you say, hey, yeah, this works. I would love to hear about that. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I was told I was 40 at the time, mom of 3 kids, that the only way to lose those last things that I wanted to lose was either through like a super mini tummy tuck or cool sculpting. And I thought, you know what? Tummy tuck my ass. I am going to get out there. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to change my mindset, and I'm going to see how far I can push my body through the right food and the right fitness. And I'm so glad I did. Remember, that's a choice that you can make, but it is a quick fix. It's not sustainable. It is something temporary. And then you're going to have the effects and the consequences of that operation. And what are you going to have to take once you have that operation? Pain medication, which might lead to slowing down your digestion. And then you're having to take even more probiotics. And then it's just that vicious cycle again. So I really hope that you consider adding in squats and deadlifts, looking at your gut health to get that nice round butt and flat gut so that you can be strong and healthy and mobile for years to come. And you can be happier in all areas of your life. Remember, all areas of our life are connected and affect the other, especially our business. So if you're looking to be successful in your life and business, you want to address all those areas. And this is a great way to get a start for the physical part. Strength conditioning several times a week with squats, deadlifts, and something with your shoulders. And then eating less crap and more food, moving around, and having the proper poop protocol are great ways for you to get started on that nice butt, flat gut, and a healthier, happier life. You just feel strong and powerful when you are strong and powerful. So don't let that stop you. If it's something that you're wanting to do, just do it. I will talk to you next time. And until then, remember, healthy mind, body, business.